I've never been in
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning is my polite way of saying, please sit down and be quiet. Because if I say the Lord be with you, then I have to pray, and we just got done doing that. Ben Madison, why don't you sit at table 1? Micah is also supposed to be sitting at table 1. That's why I told you to sit. Good morning. I am so truly excited and happy, and words that I don't even know yet, to see so many of us here this morning. My name is the Reverend Susanna Cates. I'm lucky enough to be a member of priest in this diocese for 5 years, and it's been one of the joys of my life. I hope that all of you can say the same. If you're new to this diocese, I'll check back with you in a few years, and I think you will be able to say the same. Thank you for being here. I know that this is a busy time. I was talking it over. This is apparently the first day of school for the kids at the cathedral school. And I was talking it over with my friend Beth over there. We were talking about, we need a first day of school. So this is our first day of school. Welcome back, everybody. We need to give you school supplies. One of the great double-edged swords of being in this diocese is that you can go for a long time talking to and sending emails to and from a lot of people on our diocesan staff and never ever knowing what they actually look like, because you very rarely get a chance to see them in person. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this today, so that those of you who send multiple emails all the time to Ann Noddy and to Marianne Cushion and to who else do we send? It's good grief. She gets more emails than anybody I know, I think. And Steve Welch. This is a really good opportunity for you to get to know those people and some new people on diocesan staff. So I'd like to bring them up first. And because they are so busy, I'd like to ask Ann Noddy and John Conte and Marianne Cushion to come up, because believe it or not, they do have other places to be this morning, but I wanted them to introduce themselves as diocesan staff so that you know who you are dealing with when you are talking to these folks from the diocese. So please come up, Marianne and Anne and John, and introduce yourself. Well, good morning. My name is Anne. I am the office of convention manager. November 1st will mark 24 years that I'm at diocesan now. So you can contact me with questions for things like the annual convention, getting out of death notice, clergy and lay licenses, sacred training, background checks, and so on. So what I would suggest is that you go to the page on the diocesan website. If you click on a member, you'll see all the responsibilities there. Please contact us, and you'll hear that. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I'm John Monty. We're a maintenance man at the Diocese House. We'll be celebrating 3 years as of September 17th. And the Golden Diamond Growth Office, amongst many other chores and situations, but I really enjoy this place. A lot of lovely people I have met over the last 3 years of my life. I'm very grateful. Thanks so much.
I'm Marianne Cusham, not Marianne Rose. I am, well, I was the receptionist when we were receiving. Well, we haven't been doing that for a while, but I also, like, first contact, if you send something to info@dioceseofnj.org, I'll field that question and distribute it to whoever can help you on that. Same thing if you leave a message on the diocesan main line, phone line, I'll redirect that as well. I also help Anne, whatever she wants me to do. And I also handle calendar and database updates, that kind of thing. So if you move and you don't tell us, we're going to be very upset. So we need to keep our records up to date. So I'm just sort of the Jill of all trades. So if you need anything, just let me know. And like I say, I'm either N. Clisham at Diocese of NJ, or I'm info@Diocese of NJ. And I'm glad to see you all. Oh, I will be here 8 years in November. Yeah.
And I do want to let everybody know, if you don't know this already, and I'm sure that, what did you call them? Experienced clergy? If you've been in this diocese for a while, it is refreshing because I have colleagues in other dioceses for whom this is not the case, where you can send email after email or leave voicemail after voicemail, and it goes into the void of the diocese wherever you are, and you never hear anything back from them again. The Diocese of New Jersey does not do that. You get to talk to real people here if you need to talk to a real person. And that is very refreshing, and it's not the case everywhere. So I'm very grateful for that. And I hope that the rest of us are grateful for that too. It is a gift. It is a gift because we are busy. It's not that they're not busy, but they truly care about us and about each other. Speaking of caring, Phyllis Jones, please come up and introduce yourself. Canon Phyllis Jones, I apologize. Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see all of you, and just so many, for me, mostly familiar faces, voices, some of whom I am getting to see in person, though, for the first time, as we talked about before. So it's just wonderful to have that opportunity. I am the Chief Operating Officer for the Diocese of New Jersey, and this is one of the first times I get to say that to a large group of people without the Chief Financial Officer tag on the end of that. So we are very blessed that we have the resources and have gone through a process to call someone wonderful who you're about to meet after I'm done here into the Chief Financial Officer's position.
so that we'll be able to get back to, being able to, more promptly resource all of you with the information that you need. And also be able to, just have all of our, diocesan reporting and everything just flow that much more smoothly and on a much more human working schedule. So, as many of you, I've been into my 13th year now. I celebrated my 12-year anniversary in July. When I first came here, I was joined in the finance office by Mandy Strauss, who has since retired, and then by Sarah Page, who has moved on to other vocation. And so we've had experienced a lot of transition in the finance office, and I really view it as moving from strength to strength, because between Manny and Sarah, we were able to bring the diocesan finances and the reporting to our governing bodies back to a place where the finances were no longer the focus of the meetings. They were the resource for the mission. And anybody who's ever heard me speak will always know that I say that money follows mission. I've encouraged diocesan council actually to do their missional reporting and save the money part to the end. That's how we talk about a mission and then see if we're putting our money where our mouth is. And, so that they were integral in getting that started. And our finance team, who will be introduced in a moment, they're just doing incredible work to help keep that going. So for my responsibilities now, I will be able to, again, continue to focus and grow and expand the responses that we give in a lot of operational numbers. Whether that's, we talk about emails. Sometimes I feel like I'm info at Diocese of New Jersey. And that the job description really is, there's a few bullet points, but then there's other duties that are assigned in big bold letters. Because a lot of it is about just being responsive to the needs and concerns that all of you have and the lay leadership has in order to be able to help overcome some of the obstacles that you might find logistical or temporal, practical obstacles that you may be encountering on your way to fulfilling your mission and ministry. As in your context in New Jersey. So, we property matters, and then also working together, continuing to work together with Gary Kamen, who is our Chief Financial Officer, to continue to resource you financially as well, and just to provide support with things like affiliations or any other issues that you may be encountering. As far as some of the, again, financial property matters, operational kinds of issues. That's the area that I'm now we're really moving to focus on. And I'm really looking forward to being able to do that on a proactive basis rather than a reactive basis. And to be able to help them forward. So that's sort of where that transition is going. It's really wonderful to have a chance to be on the newsroom today. I'm afraid. But I wish you a wonderful gathering and just a really enjoyable celebration. I celebrate the first in the Diocese of New Jersey every single day. So thank you so much. So with that, I would like to ask Gary and Robbins and Tanya if you come forward.
And if I could ask, when you're at the lectern, talk right into the microphone for the cheap seats in the back. Okay?
Very good.
They're having some trouble hearing us here in the room, so.
Okay.
if you
How's
get
that?
ready,
Good.
I think.
So as I was saying before, we are blessed in that we have called Gary to the Diocese of New Jersey as our Chief Financial Officer. He can tell you a little bit more about his experience, but the one thing that I'm very grateful for at this point in time is he's been here almost 3 weeks and he keeps coming down. And then Tanya, many of you are familiar with as she's our controller and has been a wonderful ongoing thread through all of this transition. And then Ramez, who has succeeded, never replaced Manny. He was a unique person, but he has succeeded Manny. And again, moving from strength to strength in that staff accountant position. And with that, I will let them further introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Gary Kamen. I graduated from Harvard University and then moved on to a CPA firm, moved from staff level through high level to partner. And recently I retired from there and started at the Blue House, another organization, which is healthcare organization, and then moved on from there to here. We had a nice group of people working here, Tanya and Ramesh, they can introduce themselves, and of course with Phyllis. So I had so far excellent team, and I saw some of you through Zoom, but very nice to see you guys in person. And any questions you have with regard to diocese finances, hopefully I get to know it very well and respond to your questions or help you need to let me know with regard to finances or work with finances and controls and things like that. Any questions you have and your team that have an answer. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Tommy Rainey, and I'm the controller of the Diocese of New Jersey. And I'm so grateful to be able to put names with faces. I've spoken with a number of you over the 3 years that I've been here with the diocese, and it is absolutely my pleasure to assist you with any issues that you have. I reside actually in Burlington, New Jersey, and have over 20 years of nonprofit experience. So I'm responsible for the financial reporting through the budgets, as well as reconciling all diocesan investment trust accounts. So if you need any assistance, I am also responsible for the parochial reports, as well as get a lot of questions with regard to I need my credentials. Can you assist? I'm that person instead of going to fill it, just to alleviate the number of emails that we do get regarding those types of questions. I'm that person to address giving you your credentials again for the FMS website, as well as I do process redemptions from your diocesan invest trust accounts as well. So please feel free to email us now at finance@dioceseofnewjersey.org as opposed to sending them individually, because that email will go to all three of us, Ramesh, Gary, and myself. So again, if you have any issues, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Romus Mishai. Been with the diocese now for 2 months. I'm very grateful that I got the chance to meet everyone today. And again, I guess we will be communicating with most of the people here, the payable, payroll, and if you need to reach out to me, again, I'll just introduce that new email for finance@dioceseofnewjersey.org, and that will be all on you. It's a good chance for all of us to follow with anyone that needs assistance here. Thank you so much.
Thank you to our financial team. We know you're more than that, but those of us that are like me and look at numbers and their eyes crossed and their heads scramble, double thank you. I would like to ask Pat Hawkins to come up. She will be here all day if she actually told you what she does, but can you keep it to like 2 to 3 minutes?
Hi, everyone. I am so thrilled to be here and looking at all of you and actually meeting you. So many of you I've worked with on so many different things, and I know you by email, possibly by phone, but I've never actually met you in person. So this is wonderful. My official primary title at the diocese is the Diocesan Benefits Administrator. So I'm Thank you. So I'm the person that you're going to call with any questions, any issues, anything you need assistance with in terms of pension, health insurance, life insurance, disability, or dental insurance. All of those come under that. And if you need to get enrolled, we need to get a hold of you immediately. If you have new staff, you need to get a hold of me immediately. There are time limits to be able to enroll folks. And we are coming up on annual enrollment. So there's going to be new information coming out very, very soon about the plans available for 2023. You want to be looking for that. I'm also the administrator to the Commission on Ministry and Committee on Priesthood. So if you have folks who are looking at entering the process of ordination, I'm a person you want to contact for that also. I know there's a few people here that have gone through that process that I've never met until today, so I'm really excited to see them. In addition to that, I have the longest title in the diocese. I am the secretary to the corporation for the relief of widows, widowers, and children of clergy in the Protestant, that was the word I forgot, when the Protestant Episcopal Church in the state of New Jersey. Okay, it's not on my business card, sorry. So if you are under age 60 and not a contributor to that, you want to be in touch with me about that. If you are a contributor, you want to be in touch with me to make sure that we have your accurate information so that, God forbid, if something should happen, your beneficiaries will be able to benefit from that fund. Okay. In addition to that, I do a few other little things. I help see a little bit with communications, just a little bit. Don't come looking at me for communication stuff.
Don't come looking for me.
I also assist the transitions officer with letters of agreement. So that's another thing that you can contact me with, as well as I'm on the commission, planning commission on clerical compensation. So I can also assist with questions on that, as well as being a member of the Integration Commission. I think that covers it. Thanks.
More about the corporation, because that's a mystery to many people. And I want to tell you, if you want to know about the corporation, if you're under age
60 now is what we
because if you're not a part of it, you are leaving money on the table.
That's right. You don't even have to be full-time. You have to be canonically and physically resident in the diocese, under age 60.
Pat, for the sake of people at home, they didn't hear what the bishop said. Can you talk about what you're talking about?
The bishop asked me to say more about the Corporation for the Relief of Widows. I won't go into the full name of it. With the corporation, if you become a contributor to this corporation, you will contribute $50 per year for up to 25 years. If you do that, when you die, your surviving spouse will get a $1,000 death benefit, and they will get an additional 2 checks per year. One check is $120 every year, and the second check depends on the surplus income in the fund. Whatever that surplus income is divided by the number of beneficiaries. And this year it was around 1,300, around 1,300. Yeah, so this is money that would go to your surviving spouse. If you have minor children, there's a different benefit that I will also let you know. It depends on the number of minor children surviving that you have. You get in touch with me if you have questions about it. It's definitely a good benefit. And at $50 a year, it's, it's definitely doable.
It's back the first year.
Yeah.
So you're vested the first year.
Yes, you are vested the first year. And if you die without a surviving beneficiary, the fund refunds all of your contributions to your estate. Win-win.
It's also the oldest corporation in our.
Thank you. In case anyone didn't hear that, it's the oldest corporation in America.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, can I ask you to come out from behind your electronic barrier to introduce yourself?
Pay no attention to the man.
Okay, lots of
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So good morning, everyone. I am Steve Welch. I am your Accountant of Communications. And while I have not paid attention, 4 years have passed of me doing that. If you met me on day 1, I was slender and had dark hair. That's it. And people ask me, what do you do going to the Diocese of New Jersey? I tell them, I'm soft retired. It means I work twice the hours for half the money that I used to. But my job is all things communications related, and during the pandemic, what we meant by all things expanded quite a bit. But that includes helping y'all with the live streams, helping with any kind of communications issues that you have. If you have a media inquiry, particularly about a touchy subject that you need some help dealing with, I can help you with that. If you're struggling with the website for your own congregation, we can help with that. I'm responsible for the diocesan website. I'm the person that you first are not telling you all the information you need and for sending you too many emails. Both those things. Just here to serve you however you need to serve you, and as they say, other requirements or other functions as assigned by the bishop. What do you got for me today? I've also, I think that most people recognize me largely from Zoom, but sometimes I go out to different congregations and worship, particularly when we were all masking. I see them looking and trying to figure out who I am, and then recognizing me by the glasses from Zoom. Okay, so they're looking. Oh, okay. Because I've not met most of these guys. And many of you I've not met in person before. I'm happy to be here. And I'll be around if you have questions, concerns. And I will always make a pitch for you all to please come to the Diocese of New Jersey website and use it to share the stories of your congregation. If you go to the Know Your Story section, you will read all kinds of stories about things happening in this diocese, stories of discipleship and service and love. And then right there at the top is a button that says share your story. And whatever your short story is, if you want to be able to share outside your own congregation, use that button to tell us it. It's words, it's video, it's audio, whatever way you want to tell your story, do it right there. Same thing if you have events at your congregation that you want to make sure other people know about. If you go to our events page, there's a button right there for share your event. You put that there, then it's on the diocesan website. And both of those things, for the most part, we will try to share as many of those as possible in Good News in the Garden State, which I'm sure everyone subscribed to, right? And please share that widely as possible. That's all.
Thank you, Steve. I would also call up Rob Drumstein, Canon, Rob Drumstein, to speak as briefly as he knows how.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Drumstein. For those of you who I haven't met, it's really nice to see new faces. I am indeed the canon for congregational development and mission, otherwise known as the church growth person here in the diocese. I just celebrated my 8th anniversary of being here on August 1st, so that was kind of exciting. Sounds more exciting for me than for you. Okay. So just a couple of things. You have this little card on your table. I hope you will take it and take it home with you. My only sadness about my job is that more of you don't take advantage of what's available to you. Now, I'm assuming that if I were to say how many of you are just as big and successful and effective as you would like to be right now, tell me, would you raise your hand if you were just as big and successful as you'd like to be right now? Okay, good. That means there's still a need for me here. And so, what I wanted to say is, there are two things here. We are here, my office is here, to help you increase your participation, excitement, and effectiveness across your congregation. Okay, that's what we're here for. What I like to say is, I'm here to help you populate all your ministries with motivated people. Okay, that's really what congregational development is. And so where does motivation come from? That's what we work on. That's the kind of stuff that we do. We talk about how to do leadership, how to do motivation, how to have more joy, how to have more optimism in what we do in our congregations. Because it's the optimism and the joy and the authenticity that brings people in, that makes us appealing to folks and pushing us out to them. Okay? 8 years ago when I started, I got to work with the bishop, started working with the bishop, and over these 8 years, I have learned how different our approaches to most diocesan approaches for growth. There are many, as you know, many different products out there that you can spend a lot of money that don't work. They catch you because they know that a lot of churches are struggling and worried. And so we're kind of easy to sell to. So we work out something that doesn't approach things the way they approach that. We approach things at the core of the congregation's spiritual life, which is where the motivation comes from, by the way, the authenticity comes from. And so I've always been grateful for the focus on purpose that we've gotten since the bishop stood in front of the diocesan leadership 5 years ago now, and said, we have a purpose, and he told them what it was, and which was basically to develop disciples of Jesus to do God's work in the world. And it was interesting, the pushback we got. If you were in the room that day, it was fascinating. And so we found out exactly where people were with that and the work we had to do. And so that's what we do. So you can see there that the problem of growth can be solved if you understand the real reasons for the challenges you face. If you live into the number one principle of church growth, and if you focus on your core purpose, I'm not telling you what any of those are, because I want you to have a consultation with me. Okay, I will tell you what those are if you spend a half an hour with me. Okay, I'm very easy, actually. You just send me an email, I send you a link to my calendar. My calendar is making you set that happening. And let's get started there. Then we can talk about the things you know about already, the coaching programs and the way of St. Paul, the Academy of Artful Leadership, and one of the exciting things we're doing. I'm really excited. Where's that? Where are you? That there. What we call coaches assisting parents, where we actually pair up coaches with families, individual families, to work on strengthening their children's attachment to God. Because that's what formation is. It's strengthening our attachment to God. And children have a natural attachment. We want to strengthen that. So we're working on that, and we're in our second iteration. So that's plenty for me, but I hope you take this away. And please just send me an email. We'll get you on my calendar for a consultation. And after a half hour with me, then we can decide if you want to do like many other parishes are doing. Have a session with me and your wardens. I do rescue retreats and trainings and congregational life discussions about growth and purpose. So it's a resource for all of you, and it's a perk from being here, being here in this diocese. Thanks. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Canon Izzo, would you like to come up and introduce yourself in just a couple of minutes, please?
Good morning. So I am Canon Joan Izzo. I'm the interim canon to the ordinary transition officer. And I have been here 4 months. I'm still standing. It's been an amazing experience. I know when I first had a meeting with the bishop and he showed me what the position description was, after I stopped laughing, I said, how does this get done? And he said, it'll get done. And then maybe about 6 weeks in to the position,
I said, wow, you're actually paying me to do this. I'm having a lot of fun. He said, don't worry, we'll make that right out. So there's a lot, many of you come to, an email, and sometimes when you've heard it goes to Marion Cusham info or where it's going, when it doesn't know where to go, it comes to me. So if I get an email or I get a question, and often what I'll do is I may just say, oh, this is the person you need. Or if I can be involved or I can help in any way. So that, one of the vestries asked the bishop, what's a canon to the ordinary? And the bishop said, well, I'm the ordinary. I'm the bishop of the diocese. And Joanne is the troubleshooter. And it was really great for me to say troublemaker. So, I'm just continuing to get to know many of you. I've appreciated invitations to your congregations on a Sunday to come and preach or celebrate if you want a Sunday off. And also getting to know the congregations as they are. So if you have questions or concerns, don't hesitate, please contact me. I would also ask Karen Clive Sang to come up. Introduce yourself, please.
Morning. I've all I will have to make sure I didn't forget them. By the way, the stick is just temporary and recovering from surgery with some, hopefully, I'll be out running again shortly. I am the town commissioner for Black Ministry, here in the diocese, and essentially, assist in the coordination of, the activities that, focus around Black Ministry, for example, Martin Luther King service, the Maxwell Jones service, that history we coordinate. There are 10 historically Black churches in the diocese, and of course, the site of the diocese being what it is, all churches are from Elizabeth to Atlantic City. And you will not be driving when I get around to visiting all these churches. We also have the only virtual congregation in the diocese, St. Augustine's Camden, and they are meeting virtually. What else does the Black Ministry do? Part of the commission of that ministry, that's the group that the bishop put together when he got here, looking into issues involving the ministry of the diocese. We meet monthly. The historical lecture to do monthly also is to share information and whatever support we can do for them. I coordinate the Black Clergy Caucus in the diocese, and currently assigned to St. Thomas Redback, a bilingual congregation, mission church, who, along with Deacon Joe Lozado, we can hold the fort. We can find a bilingual priest. Anybody new bilingual? Would like to priest in charge at St. Thomas? This is one of my opinion. I also work quite a bit with the Office of Black Ministry, which has been renamed, by the way, of our national church. It's now called the Office of African Descent. And we had some success with them because just September 1st, we have Clergy joined the diocese for Pleasantville, St. Mary's Pleasantville, that came from recommendation to the Office of African Descent. There's other information.
Use your deacon voice. Use your deacon voice.
Use my deacon voice.
Yes.
Please keep in touch. I can be reached through the diocese or directly. Thank you so much.
And I believe we have Richard Reed, our archivist, who wants to join us via Zoom.
Yeah, we're gonna give this a shot. We don't, you will not be able to see him, but I hope you're going to be able to hear him. Richard, are you on?
Okay, should I put my priest voice on?
Talk loud.
Talk loud? Is that helping?
Sure, go ahead, Richard.
All right, well, let me know. I mean, I'm looking at the front of the room, so if there's a head nod, I'll know I can be heard. Oh, she's grimacing.
Go ahead, Richard.
Okay, I'm Richard Reed. I'm the canon historiographer and archivist.
No.
No good. Okay,
All right, sorry, Richard. We're just not able to pick you up.
okay.
Thank you.
All right. No, I guess you can't pick me up. Well, I'll arrange to come to a fresh start at another fresh start. Okay.
Great, thanks,
Okay,
Richard.
thank you.
Richard
Okay.
says he will come to a fresh start in the near future.
Thank you, Richard.
And one more, Canon Ramon Vieira.
My name is Canon Ramon Vieira, or Padre Ramon. I love him for Padre Ramon. We have 11 Spanish service in our diocese. That is exciting. We have 7 bilingual congregations and 4 full congregations in Spanish. Every Sunday we have a regular service. I'm very happy with what going on in the diocese of New Jersey. We have around more than 80,000 Hispanic in our diocese every Sunday. It is very good. My job, the spiritual job, is development Hispanic ministry in our diocese. If you have any Hispanic person happy to it for the Sunday, for the baptism or first communion, sweet 16, or how do it that? I don't know. Okay, call me. I want to help. Maybe I can do it, but I have to connect with the other clergy, Hispanic clergy in the area. No same place for the Catholic Roman Church or the Evangelical Church. No. Oh, but the Episcopal Church, we can do it. We do it. I have the plan development in Hispanic ministry in more congregations. Hispanic ministry knows only have the regular every Sunday service. Hispanic ministry is the rest service, food pantry, tree shop, everything we have to do. You do it in the congregation. That is the Hispanic ministry. Maybe the Hispanic ministry Sunday, one Sunday by week, this is the goal, but not necessary. It's every Sunday. We begin to serve for the Hispanic culture. Thank you so much for everything you do for the love of the Hispanic culture. Thank you, you do it for the great help of the Hispanic culture. And I want to invite for the September 17th, we have the Hispanic Latin Festival in South River, the Holy Trinity. It is our great celebration there. Thank you, Father Brett, for your support. Thank you, Father Adrian, for your support. Thank you, Hispanic Commission, Father Toribio, co-chair is here, for the great support for everything we have to do in the Hispanic congregation. God bless you all.
In addition to the clergy, canons, and other canons of our diocese and our diocesan staff, we also have a lot of people who are doing double or triple duty in our diocese as clergy and lay leaders, and also other leaders of the diocese. And I would like to invite a few of them up just to introduce themselves. And we are beginning to run a little short on time. I do want to make sure we get time with Bishop Stokes for Q&A, but I do want to invite just a few people from our diocese to introduce themselves and some of the ministries in which they engage across our diocese. Let me get Tricia Thorne up here, if I may, please, talk about ECF. What these are.
Good morning. It's so great to be here with everyone, which I know everyone has said, but I'm especially thrilled to be here as the new, that'll be 3 months next week, Executive Director of Episcopal Community Services of the Diocese of New Jersey. So that And it's super grateful to Bishop Stokes and the advisory council for setting this up in December of 2020. The idea is that our organization works with all of us so that we're following Jesus in acts of charity and justice. Our activities, some of you have heard this a lot, but they involve offering opportunities to engage in gospel justice advocacy, get information and trainings on issues related to gospel justice. So on October 15th, keep your eyes out for an announcement. We're having a summit on building and equipping the beloved community around affordable housing. Saturday, October 15th, 10 a.m. on Zoom. One of the things I want to do in the next 6 months or so is to have smaller opportunities for people to get together around issues of concern to them. So, we had a pop-up meeting around food security for children feeding programs in the summer. Typically get people who care about an issue to get together, share their hard-won wisdom, share best practices, empower them with information so they can do their work better. One of my favorite things. We have grants. I hope you are aware of our grant program. We've given out over $225,000 so far. The fall deadline is tomorrow. If you haven't started yet, let's talk about the spring. And all of our grants are funded by donations. So I greatly appreciate the donations from everyone in this room and all of our donations and the many donors to ECS so far. We'd love for you to get involved. Please go to our events, please apply for grants, please talk to me, become a friend of ECF, support us financially over your prayers, get people in your congregation to become ECS champions, so help us spread the word about ECS. Okay, I'm going to take 30 seconds because I can't help myself. I also work on the global goals for sustainable development, which I think is a framework for international justice. If your congregation has an international ministry that you support, you can get matched to $750 with the diocesan fund. That deadline is November 1st. You can, again, it's November 1st, it's pretty far in the future, so you can keep an eye out for information about that. But you can always email me at tthorn, like my name, at ucs-nj.org. Thank you.
I invite Bob and Natalie to come up, please, and talk about his chaplaincy to our retired clergy in the diocese. Because I know that there are a few retired clergy in the
Thank you. Now, am I all right with the mic?
No. Bring it closer. Yeah.
This. Okay. This is okay. All right, this is my good side. I'm Bob Lignani, and I've been a priest in this diocese for 48 years. I was, and I know that there are a lot of you out there who can match that or almost match that. I came in this morning, I was talking to Bruce Montgomery and the Lee Powers, and all three of us have been ordained and working in this diocese for over 40 years. Between the three of us, that's 120 years of ministry. There are about 250 retirees and spouses that are canonically listed in the Diocese of New Jersey. About 100 of those have retired outside of New Jersey. California, Arizona, Florida, New England, Pennsylvania. And our ministry for the retirees is one of communication through cards and telephone calls. And we have 4 lunches here in the Bishop Matthews conference room a year. There's 4 newsletters that go out. We visit retirees who are hospitalized. We keep track of retirees for 2 reasons. One is to keep them in the loop, to keep them in the community of the Diocese of New Jersey that many of them have served for so long, and to let them know that their ministry, and that includes their spouses, is very much appreciated, still appreciated, even in their retirement. And that's even though many of us are already doing supply. Many of us clergy are already doing supply and filling a vital role and ministry in this diocese. The other thing we do is we become a conduit then for information to the bishop about
the retired clergy that he needs to be in contact with and minister to. There are chaplains to the retired in each of the congregations, and that include Alan Salmon, Mark Van Sant, Leroy and Michelle Lyons, Pat and Diane Close, Rick Sevalier, and Paul Aaron Mitchell, and we're looking for a chaplain in the Atlanta congregation. You can be a deacon, you don't need to be a retired priest, speak to me. There are two things. Well, actually, I want to say, even though she's not here, my wife Sue and I are chaplains together. I do the writing, she does the publication through the computer because she knows how to copy paste. I could learn, I really want. But there are two things that I'd like to emphasize before the Powers gets up here. One is that take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I know we talk about a day off, and that isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an annual doctor's checkup. I'm talking about medical care. I'm talking about taking a walk every day or riding a bicycle, a stationary bicycle. The church pension fund puts out an necrology each month when we receive our checks. And I can tell you that most of the clergy on that necrology have lived lives that are well into the 80s and 90s. But this Saturday, we're gearing up to bury a priest who's 69. Now, you have some control over that for yourself. If you keep up with your medical appointments, your diet, your exercise, your sleep. The other thing is, keep track of your stuff. And by that I mean insurance forms, medical forms, keeping track of your payments into Social Security, and your parish's payments into the pension fund. The Health and Wellness Committee of the Church Pension Group tells the story of a couple of years ago. You know, we all carry a $50,000 insurance policy. And when a priest dies, $10,000 is immediately sent to the surviving spouse to help with funeral expenses. And they got a call from a surviving spouse whose priest husband had died, and she wondered where the $10,000 was. And the Health and Wellness Committee researched it and found that her husband, the priest, had changed the beneficiary on their insurance policy to their children and had never told her. And it was the two people, the Reverend Ann Queen and Mr. Sean Scheller, who had to tell her that she wasn't getting that $10,000. Keep track of your stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And I would also invite Reverend Lee Powers to come up and tell a little story for us, please, because I think that dovetails very nicely with what Bob has said. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lee Powers. This is what 10 years of retirement was. I want to tell you a story. In the last year and a half, this coming Saturday, participated in or officiated 5 meetings. The first was my daughter's mother, who was 83 years old and really sick dementia. So it was a sad but joyous Saturday. I really made me blessed. Since then, there's been a funeral of my niece's 49-year-old husband. A local businessman of age 53. Priest of our diocese in his late 60s. And this Saturday, the month check is in his 60s. It's not, you know, I would like to think that everybody would get to live a long, fruitful retirement. But unfortunately, most funerals I'm going to now are people younger than me. And what I want to let you know is the church pension fund has a spousal benefit. So that when you are retired and you're receiving your pension, and I put a sheet of paper on there, you can get this on the website, cpg.org, benefits. The standard benefit is paid out to a surviving spouse is 50% of the pension you will receive. That's funded by the church pension fund, doesn't cost you anything out of your pension. That just automatically happen. For some people, that'll be enough. This week,
Steve, they
I've been
cannot
looking-
hear you. They cannot hear you on the Zoom. If you could get up on that microphone. Yeah, go.
Is that good?
Yeah, there you go.
But this week I've been working with a widow who just discovered this week that she was going to make a 50% benefit, and it's not going to be enough to support her. She can't work, her health is not good, and she doesn't have those kind of benefits. You will find on the sheet on the bottom of this page, and it's page 18. If you go back on the website, page 18 of the guidance, about options to be able to enhance your pension benefit. You can enhance it up to 75% or 100% of the pension benefit you have. They will do an actuarial calculation and reduce your pension to provide for that additional benefit. At the time when I filed for my retirement 10 years ago, Nancy and I are 15 months younger than me. She could say 15 years, but it's really 15 months. The actuarial calculation only reduced my pension by 6%. 6%. But now she will know that the pension will continue even after my death. If you're not in financial planning, if you're not going to keep in your records or something like that, then just set yourself up one day. Go make an appointment with the church pension group. You can do it by phone, by Zoom, or in person. They're not that far away. They have 3 excellent people there, Larry Judgment, Anna Molina, and Dolly Rios. And both Anna and Dolly are bilingual. They will make a consultation with you and help you. But the point is this: when you file for your pension, when you file for your retirement, you have to make a selection at that time, and it's irreversible. So if you die soon after retirement, and your spouse is going to have a long period of time to live afterwards, if you have not chosen an enhancement, they're going to get 50%. So come up with a financial plan. Even if you have to pay somebody to help do this, to be the best money you can spend. Believe me, your spouse will bless you, your children will bless you. You know, this was a heartbreaking and shocking development for this widow. Who at times I was afraid of her saying she was that upset and called Bishop Stokes decided we had to take some emergency steps to help her. And thankfully, she called and had a wonderful conversation with Pat, who helped her understand the normal 50% is what most clergy go through. I don't know if it's my choice or whether it's going to bother to look at the options. So there's one sheet up there. I'll leave this one here. I can call for anybody afterwards if you need to. Make a consultation. Go to Credo. If you haven't been to Credo, go to Credo and have a consultation with your finance faculty. They'll go through all of that with you. Okay? And I pray that you live a long, healthy life and that the additional benefit is necessary. But if it is, you know, you want to know your native functions. Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in here and say, in addition to everything that they just said, if you are even thinking about retirement, call me. Let let's talk about it. You need to know about your timeframes. You need to be planning ahead. Don't wait until the last minute. And I can share some of this information with you as well. And also give my information to your spouse so that they will have it in the event that they need it.
Thank you. Claire, let's talk about something cheerful, shall we?
Sorry, I feel like I'm the other end of the spectrum completely. My name is Progam, and I am one of two diocesan youth conveners here in the Diocese of New Jersey. The other, Joe Rodriguez, has a day job, so he was not able to join us. And I just, I want to be as brief as possible, be mindful of time. But we are tasked to work with predominantly youth in kind of the middle and high school range. I get a lot of questions about 3-year-olds, which is great, I have them. But really, that's kind of our work here. And I know that a lot of people tend to step away from youth stuff, especially right now, because it is very, very difficult. I was hired in March of 2020, which might be a familiar date to many of you. And so this has been an uphill battle. Currently, we have a few things kind of in the works. We've had some successful anti-racism workshops for our youth. We'd like to do others, so if you're willing to kind of post, please, contact us. We are working on some kind of retreat for the fall, early winter. We have a newsletter that is published with any kind of up-to-date information. Please look out for that. And the really big one, we have money to give to people who want to do youth work. So if you have a program that is currently happening and you need a little more funding, let us know. If you have a program that you've been dreaming about and you'd like to try, please contact us. If you just want to try something, to try to bring youth back, because I know that it's a struggle that many places are having, please let us know and let us know how we can support you. In terms of what's been happening at the diocesan level, it's been difficult because we don't have youth. Our title is youth convener. We are convening, and if you don't have anyone to convene, it doesn't really go well. So please contact us. The best email for us is youth@diocese.nj, and that will come to both of us. And please let us know what we can do for you, how we can help you, because we are open to all kinds of ideas. We are at this point rebuilding from the ground up, and we are looking for energy. So if you have energy, if you have 1 or 2 young people in your church and you want to know what to do with them, please, contact us and we will do everything that we can to help. Because I grew up in the diocese. We had some great youth programs when I was young. We'd like to get some of that back. So please, again, youth@dioceseofnj.org. Thank you.
Wouldn't it be kind of cool if we had churches with just a few youth here and there that wanted to get together? And wouldn't it be cool if we had churches on a beach somewhere? Do we have any churches that are close to the shore? Wouldn't it be cool if we could get all of those kids together at a really cool church on the beach that they would like to visit, and maybe one of them had a soup kitchen or something? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Chase? That'd be awesome, right? Hey, Chase volunteered to host the youth of the diocese. All right. Hey. So let's talk to Chase about this, shall we? Awesome. We are really running low on time. There were a lot of other people that we wanted to acknowledge and some other programs we wanted to acknowledge. I do want to mention we are kickstarting the mentor program in the Diocese of New Jersey. Ken and Izzo and a few of the other clergy and I are working together. If you are not a mentor, but you would like to be, please let Ken and Izzo know, because we are trying to pull ourselves together. We're always trying to pull ourselves together, but specifically this time. And if you would like a mentor, if you are new to the diocese, or if you're not, and you are struggling with something and you look around this room and you think, I feel a real affinity with Debbie and I feel like she could help me. You can kind of make your own mentor before we come up with a whole program, just so you know. But we are working on a program that will help connect each other with other people in this diocese who can be a good resource for you and for whom you could be a resource. So please do keep that in mind. I would like to call Bishop Stokes up, please. Bishop Stokes actually is going to answer our questions, right? Yeah, so let's take about. Yeah, take a step break. Thank you.
All right, while you're stretching and ask Frank Hubbard quickly to say something about staff.
Okay, my audience for this announcement is neither you, nor we, my fellow retirees, nor those on the brink, but people who are in mid-career and are thinking, my goodness, it's a lot of energy, a lot of time, and looking ahead, how do I get to the point where I can have a wonderful retirement? Sabbath. I am the chair of the Diocese of New Jersey's Sabbatical Fund Committee, which considers grants for clergy who have never been on sabbatical before. And we got launched and ready in 2019 and awarded our first grant to Pedro Guzman. Pedro, where are you? There you go. Who was finally able to take an abbreviated but still very nourishing and worthwhile sabbatical during one of the sweet spots when he was able to get away and do that. If you are looking at 20, 30 years of active ministry, you really need this, sisters and brothers. There is a sabbatical plan for the diocese, which is on the website. Steve Welch sent this out in May, in April for everybody, and also the fund application. The deadline for anybody who is considering the grant for 2023 is the end of this month. If you have not yet talked to me today. I am also scheduling conferences. I've actually done an appointment with somebody who's looking at sabbatical for 2024. So I'm already talking to people about 2024. We have coaches. Our colleague, Reverend Joanna Hollis, is on sabbatical as we speak. She also got no riddle, which is the Lexus of clergy sabbatical funds. Our diocesan fund can get you an 8-year-old Chevy that runs well. And it will get you places. So we have this available as a resource to help you be renewed, refreshed, rejuvenated, and to spend some time receiving the grace that we all dish out all the time. Thank you.
Because there's nothing like that. All I want to do is ask you to keep your eyes and ears open in 3 or 4 weeks for a discipleship mapping opportunity for the diocese that will directly benefit folks in your congregation and the diocese as a whole as we move forward in this transition time. We're going to need your help in October to encourage folks in your congregation to participate in this. It will lead directly to an opportunity to spiritual growth for them and good news for you and the diocese. Thank you.
So we're going to take about 10-15 minutes to thank Bishop Stokes for all the work that he has done as the bishop of our diocese, but also to ask him any questions about his work and the things that he has done and will continue to do for us. Everything you always wanted to know about Bishop Stokes, but were afraid to ask. Kind of That's what we're doing here. So if you have a question, just shout it out. We'll repeat it into the microphone so the folks at home can hear us. And then we will let Bishop Stokes answer that question. Questions for Bishop Stokes? Look how shy they are. I guess we're going to. How are you doing?
Thank you for that. I'm doing well. Susan and I went down to Florida in August, and we were down there for about 3 weeks. You know, we bought a house there in Augustine. It is the place that we'll retire to. Daughter number 2 is there with her husband. Our oldest grandchild, who was their child, just started college at the University of Central Florida. So we got to be with her before she started out. But it was really downtime. Every time I've gone to Florida prior to this time, I've taken this place with me fully. And done Zoom meetings the whole time, and really not got a break. But this time, I was really good. Mary Ann was wonderful about not scheduling anything. So there was really minimal intrusion. And it really was a good 3-week break before coming back to the onslaught. So even around running, you know, during the summer, I think back, as I've made a custom of doing, this is time for the general to get to the shore churches. And so that's what I've been most several weeks. Marshall, please.
What's on your Jersey buckets?
What's on my Jersey bucket list? You know, I have to say, there's so much that we want to do that we have not done because we've been so busy. I can't even begin to think about what should be on.
I was wrong. You go to see them, they get confused.
Oh, okay, Newark. I never go there. Yeah, the stepchild. Oh, I love him. I love Carly. We want to pray for Carly. She just had a new replacement yesterday. So we told her there's also a great for Angeline Bosa's got some issues. Pray for her too. Francis, please. Others.
Favorite thing about being bishop?
You know, it's got to be the visitations. I'm sorry, the favorite thing about being bishop. It's really the visitations. You know, you get to go and see life in congregations and what's happening. This is an amazing diocese, and you can hear just in the things that we're supporting how wide the range is of what goes on. You know, and it's stunning. So you know, every place is different, quirky. You know, we go from tiny little places to places that are big, and you know, we go from having a little gathering of people. So I would say that. I would also say that the rewarding has been the work that we've been doing in the affiliations, really beginning to revision how we might do ministry, because I think it's really going to be essential for us to have different paradigms to ministry going forward if we're going to, you know, continue to really thrive. And those conversations are often moved from people being reticent and hesitant to all of a sudden clicking and getting them and then being enthusiastic and building on the collaborations. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. Right. Thank you. Yeah. So Amy's question is picking up on the idea that the President of the States leaves a letter for the successor. What letter would I leave for my successor in this diocese? And I would say, first of all, treasure what is here. They're amazing gifts here, and be open to that, and try to search them out. You know, it was really impressive to me to sit here and just be quiet and listen as people came up to talk about what they would do, their field of ministry and the gifts that they bring to it. And I think that's, you know, I think in many ways the bishop needs to be a conductor. And you know, this is one big symphony. And sometimes there are dissonant notes. And sometimes they're wonderfully rich harmonic voice, you know, and that's just amazing thing to experience as you go through. I think that the real challenge, and I'm not very good at it, is to watch your boundaries with respect to time management and person. I've got a staff that works that way too. Yeah, I've got a hundred people. Manage to walk out of the hospital, or walk in and walk out. But, I appreciate the problem that you said. And it's into the tree state.
This is a little bit of self-promotion, but what I think to say about dialysis and quite a thing that happens.
Oh, man, thank you, Alan. Good. Give me that softball hit. I gotta tell you, we had this amazing thing called dialysis and fire thing. And Mark started it, who's now with Ron Pollock up at St. John's in Somerville. Mark traveled really just been a great gift to this diocese and more. Mark, when he first got involved, was at St. Paul's Anglican and started the choir there. Well, this year, how many kids were there? 11, 10 kids at 10. Only one came from the Diocese of New Jersey. Music can be such an incredibly formative thing. I would almost guarantee you I'm a priest today because I was a choir boy. I can almost guarantee you. I can guarantee you that the richness of my prayer life is primarily the music of the church. I find hymns going through my head and anthems going through my head, no matter where I am or what I'm doing. And in fact, I oftentimes need to stop and pay attention because they'll often tell me what's going on in the spiritual. We need to give that inheritance, this rich, wonderful inheritance to our children. I'm sure that we could recruit from parishes children who would love to go to choir down in Pavement. They organized it wonderfully. Lisa Hoffman's been, Advent hosted. Lisa Hoffman's been a chaplain for it. Mark's been it's well staffed. They've got good accommodations. They have a great. Every time I talk to the kids, they have an incredible time. We're just not making them available. So I really would love to see. I want to see it die. I think it's just too good of a thing. So much a part of our heritage. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. I see you right. We'll take that next slide. Yeah. Anybody else like me? Choir? Hopefully you call. That's a bunch of hands. How many of you just went to camp and Episcopal camp or conference? Yeah, in other parts of the country, you can see 3/4 of the clergy raise their hands on the quest. College chaplaincy. So that's an area we need to build on too. We've got the Campus Ministry Foundation, and it's going to be an unrealized goal for me, but we've made some inroads. That the Campus Ministry Foundation will not really support Rutgers and Princeton, but also the other campuses across the territory of the Diocese of New Jersey. We're making headway in Romans. Tom's not here today. Tom Foster, Tom and St. Thomas Lastro have done a wonderful job of creating chaplaincy at Rome. So we've got some inroad there. We've seen some little influence of TCMJ and some other places. But boy, we wonder where the young people are. We got to go to them. And it's going to be one more thing. Thank you.
A bigger thank you than that? So I wanted us to have at least a few little minutes of table activity before we wander off to our, well, we're not gonna wander off for lunch, we're gonna stay here for lunch, but to stimulate conversation within our tables and then across tables later. There were just a few things, icebreaker-y type things I would like for us to do. If you have a table number and you are not seated at that table number, please go sit at the table to which you are assigned, Matthew Tucker. You're welcome. On my computer. I have all kinds of good ideas, but if I don't have them typed up, I'll never remember them. And then you know you can be that good. That's the funny part. Okay, so amongst your tables, we're going to have a couple of quick rounds of would you rather the Episcopal edition. Would you rather the Episcopal edition? And so you have to answer these questions. They're either or questions. And then you have to defend your choice at your table. So we're going to take a few minutes. And the first question is, would you rather use only the 1928 prayer book at your church or enriching our worship at your principal worship services? 79 book of common prayer is off the table. At your worship service, as a lay person or as a clergy person, you can only use the 1928 prayer book or enriching our worship for your principal worship service. Go.
Yeah. You mean like, spend my. That's what I think. So, yes.
All right, I know that was a juicy debate, but we're gonna move on to the next one. Would you rather have incredibly beautiful vestments and paraments in your church, or an amazing music program? Oh, that's an easy one. We're not even gonna discuss it. By the, but I heard, we're not even gonna discuss that. All right, one more. Let's see. Okay. We're gonna switch to another icebreaker called just one word. Your whole table, I will give you a subject, and your whole table has to agree on just one word to describe this topic. And it will be something having to do with our diocese or the Episcopal Church or a book of scripture, you know, churchy stuff. And then we'll share with the larger group. You will have 3 minutes to agree on just one word to describe the book of the prophet Isaiah. 3 minutes, just one word. There you have it. All right, we all have just one word. Sure you do. Table 1. Timeless. Timeless. Table 2. Where's table 2? What's your word? Restoration. Ooh, that's fun. Table 3.
Salvation.
Salvation, timeless restoration, salvation. Number 4, table 4. Ooh, gospel. We thought about that one too. Table 5. Prophetic. Hold on, you took me the book of the prophet Isaiah. Fight me, Angela. We love each other, seriously. Table 6. Challenging, to say the least. Table 7. Hopeful. 8. Hope carrying. I'll take it. I'll allow it. Table 9. Truth telling, another double barreled word, but it still counts. And table 10. Complexity. I hope Isaiah would be proud. Well done. For our final thing, and this is something where I want you all to pay attention, because this is going to help you talk to other people later. This is a game called Sing. So we'll take turns standing up. You don't have to raise your hand in order to just stand up where you are and say something about yourself. Anyone who can claim the same will raise their hand and say, same. The more unique your claim is, the better. But you can't make it something absolutely unique to yourself. For example, you cannot stand up and say, I'm the Bishop of New Jersey. Sorry.
Same. Same.
There are months that say that.
But somebody, for example, could stand up like myself and say, my birthday is in the month of September. So now we know there are at least 3 people here who have birthdays in the month of September. And I will remember when we're done with this to go to Ann and go to Father Matt and say, say other September birthdays, and maybe we'll get into an enriching conversation about that. Or not. But if you keep track of who is sane along with you, then that will give you a conversational entree, as it were, to go and talk to that person later if you don't already know them. So I will just invite people to stand up as they're able, whenever they feel called to do so, share something about themselves. Phil Carr, Jones, go for it.
Over 6'6" tall. Auxiliary chaplain. Not just chaplain, but I don't get university here, but auxiliary, I think you say first start with auxiliary chaplain. It doesn't mean to me, but I'm saying, did you get this by saying? Pray, let's fall. Pray,
Susanna, can you repeat them into the mic? They're still on.
Oh, okay, for our Zoomers, Alan said that he was an auxiliary chaplain or just a chaplain. How about a chaplain for? Oh, okay, fine. Auxiliary chaplain it was, and Phil Carr Jones is also an auxiliary chaplain. Caroline. Musician. Hyper. Okay, so our next clergy outing will be a hike. Yeah, I think we should do that actually. Okay. Oh, twin. Bishop Stokes is a twin. Who's next? Parent of children under the age of 10. Who sings with that? Lots of sayings with that. All right, now you have some parent clergy colleagues. Scuba diver. That is not going to be our next clergy outing. Not go well. Hispanic. Star Trek fan.
Owner of farm animals.
Owner of farm animals. All right, so next clergy outing on our hike, and tell them to bring heartfelt thanks for everything. All right. Unofficial family shopping, same. Oh, here's a teenage girl. They're on there. Ah, PK, priest kid, pastor's kid. Yep, got something there. Bike rider. Okay, so hiking and then a bike tour. Got it. I also be opposed to the designated hitter. All those World Series now. Doggo. That's good. Had I known then what I know now, these tables would look completely different. I would have been a Mets fan, Yankees fan. Anybody else have anything that they would like to share? You can't wait to our party. Anything else for the good of the order before we break for lunch? GTX prep. What? Dang. I know I'm the only one. Seminary of the Southwest prep. The Bishop of New Jersey. And on that incredibly false note, we're going to have a blessing course for our meal, but after the blessing, I would ask for those of you who have specific dietary requirements to get up and get your meals first, because they're set aside and we want to make sure you get the meal that you need instead of someone else taking it by mistake. That's all I have. Who would like to?
Just tell them goodbye.
Oh, can we have a fond farewell to our Zoom participants who are probably over the 50 months? Thank you, everyone. And again, thank you to Steve Welch for putting all of this technology together. Really appreciate it. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Le damos gracias al Señor en esta tarde que nos ha convocado como hermanos en su presencia, que bendiga estos alimentos, que bendiga a las personas que lo han preparado en el mundo. Amén. Gracias, Señor, por los alimentos, bendice las manos que lo prepararon y bendice todos nosotros en su servicio. Amén. Amén.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Okay, gluten-free, vegans, vegetarians, other dietary needs, etc. Please go grab your meals. When they come back, then everyone